It's quite funny doing YouTube because you don't really get a day off, which is fine. Like, it's really quite an amazing thing to do. But some days, you know, when you just don't feel it, you wake up, whatever it is you do for your day job, you don't feel it. Today is a bit like that, but not really to do with the YouTube channel. It's almost like just in general. It's a bit of a meh day. So actually it's almost the opposite, where making the sales video has kind of brought me back to a place where it forces me to sit and waffle, which weirdly makes me feel a bit better. So firstly, we've got the winner of the free game. Nice one. Send me an email and I'll get that over to you. If you'd like to win a free game, you just leave your comments down below. I think it's one of those days where I'm really going to be reading a lot of them, but we have some great sales this week, some Switch 2 ones as well that have never been on sale. Finally, do let me know at the end of the video if you made it through unscathed. It's one of my guilty pleasures, is just looking and seeing that comment that goes, I was so close to getting through this one without making a purchase, and then I hit the Savaloy Selection and the wheels came off. So what are the best games on sale this week? Well, my name is Mark Walker. Welcome back to Switch Up. Now let's find out. Let's kick off then with the game I've just alluded to, and that's Star Wars Outlaws, the Gold Edition on Nintendo Switch 2, which has its first proper sale. It's 25% off until the 14th of November, taking it down to 37 quid. Now, if you've watched the All Patched Up series, you'll know this has already had a number of updates since it came out. It runs brilliantly. It looks far better than you would expect, far better than it has any right to, really. The main issue with this one will be your expectations and what you want from the gameplay. Personally, after seeing all the hate that it received at launch, I was expecting a game that was terrible and got something that I've really enjoyed. It does have a little bit of that Ubisoft-ness to it, but if you go in not expecting tons of lightsabers and Jedi, then you'll actually probably get a lot more out of it than someone that goes in expecting, well, exactly that. I would suggest going and checking out our review of it and also maybe some of those patched up episodes so you can really see what it looks like. But you've got things like gyro support. It runs really well. It looks great, and certainly one to consider because the physical is a game keycard anyway. So, I mean, it's pointless. You might as well just own it digitally. I use own in air quotes. That sale goes on until the 14th of November. Next up, you've got the brilliant Owlboy, which has a sale until the 13th of November at just £3.79. Yes, please. This one holds a massively high Metacritic score. I saw a post actually from the developers of this one talking about how much of a success this has been. And if you're not aware, it actually took them 10 years to make this. So it took them 10 years of development, all, getting past other issues. Any indie developers out there that are listening will know there are always other issues. And it's a love letter to pixel art, and it really has done well for them. So it's nice to see that. There are some times, aren't there, where an indie's first major game is enough for them to then go on and almost do a career's worth of making what they want to make. Owlboy, 80% off until the 13th of November. In the American regions, you've got a cracking sale on the Switch 2 edition of Street Fighter 6. It's down to $19.99. That's 50% off until the 11th of November. This is another that's had a number of patches since it came out. It actually runs better ever so slightly. There are still drops and things, but there are drops across all platforms. Most of the fights are 60 FPS. Glen loved this. Like, he's a massive Street Fighter and just fighting game fan in general. I'm rubbish at them. If it's not Tekken, I'm not Tekken Par. Ooh, but he loved it. Go check out his review. That's $19.99 for Street Fighter 6, 50% off until the 11th of November. Fashion Police Squad is a very cool game. This is now down to its cheapest, I think, at 40% off until the 13th of November. Believe it or not, it's actually like a tongue-in-cheek, almost 70s style first-person shooter featuring the titular Fashion Police Squad, who are using their Singer sewing machine as a machine gun, taking down enemies that all have this weird fashion theme. It shouldn't be good, but it is. It also has this grappling hook mechanic, so you can swing around the levels. This is great. I really enjoyed it. For that price, I'd be more than happy to recommend it. That's Fashion Police Squad, £9.29 until the 13th of November. Until Then is one of my favorite games on Switch 1. Now, word of warning, and thank you to the people that pointed this out, if you're going to be just playing this on Switch 2, don't. They need to patch it. There's a moment earlier on where you can't get past a certain point. You will need a Switch 1 to get past that, and then you can carry on. But this one, my daughter played through in its entirety. It has that lovely, almost slice of life adventure feel to it, but there are mini games baked in. A bit like a 2D Shenmue in that regard. It has that feel to it, but yeah, really enjoyable game. Tells an amazingly impactful story in its runtime. And as I say, it's its cheapest ever price, 25% off until the 12th of November. If you have a Switch 1, then definitely pick that one up. Next up, over here in the UK, we have a good price actually on the Snufkin game. Do you remember the MOOMINS? You might be like, what's he talking about, the MOOMINS? It's like, it had this little theme tune. It was like, we love the laughing and they love the living, the MOOMINS. I'm so sorry. But it went something like that. And it was this very unusual European cartoon that we sometimes got over here in the UK. But it had Snufkin. I think it's that little fella there with his green hat. But this adventure's based on him and was way better than we were expecting. We did a full dedicated video on it actually. It's 31% off. I think that's one of its first big price drops, down to £12.50, but do go check out the full video because, yeah, we weren't expecting much and it turned out to be a really nice, whimsical adventure. Sadly, this one's not available in North America, so it is Europe and Australia, and that sale for Snufkin goes on until the 6th of November. One over here in the UK is Disco Elysium, the final cut, which is down matching its lowest, or is it even lower? This might be its lowest ever. It's £10.79 until the 8th of November. And it's an isometric, you could call it an RPG in some ways. Like you've got all the stats, you've got the skill checks, all of that stuff, but it's not. It's something entirely its own. Someone was asking me the other day, it was Glen actually, I was around his house for pizza and he was like, what's your favorite game, you know, in the last decade? And I think it is this. And when you try and put it into words why that is, this is where it gets really difficult. Like if I was to say to you now, you know, what's your favorite game for the last 10 years and why? It's very rare that you would talk about performance or you talk about visual quality. It's something else. It's that intangible thing that you really struggle to articulate. And that's the case with Disco Elysium. The main character is a complete no-hoper. The storyline is dark, but then it also has these like rays of light in it. But it's all brought together with the soundtrack and the speech as well, actually. And this version, they added speech in. Originally, it wasn't fully narrated and stuff like that. And I think without that, it wouldn't quite have the same impact. But they actually found the narrator. So I'm going off on a complete tangent. They found him in a jazz bar, I think, in London. They were like, this guy's voice is amazing. Like, let's get him on. And they did, and yeah, the rest is history. There are a few more games, but they're not from the same people that are in development. So you've got a couple of sequel spin-offs from various members of different teams. So it'll be interesting to see which of those do well. There's one called Longdew, which sounds really cool. But yeah, Disco Elysium is a life-changing game, like amazing. So good, £10.79, 70% off until the 8th of November. One of the few decent strategies that we've got on Switch, it's the Jurassic World Evolution. Do you remember this one? It's like the complete edition. It's down 80% at the minute, £9.99 in all regions, or your equivalents, obviously, until the 13th of November. The thing to know with this is there's no Switch 2 version yet, and there really needs to be. Visually, it got a load of patches, but it's still blurry. But it's a strategy game, so it's one of those, isn't it? Do you really care about a bit of blur in a strategy game? Well, yes, you do, actually, but it's not a game breaker. The actual core gameplay mechanics of building up these parks, getting your raptors in their cages only for something to go slightly wrong and they break out, and then you have to actually get in a helicopter and like tranquilize them. Like, it's quite cool, isn't it? I really did enjoy this game. Another that we have a full review of, but that's Jurassic World Evolution, 80% off until the 13th of November. Then you've got one of the best co-op experiences on Switch, and it comes in the form of the Resident Evil games. Now, most of them are on sale, so if you want to go for Resident Evil 5, pick it up while it's on sale as well. But Resident Evil Revelations and Revelations 2, they're brilliant. At 60% off, £6.39, they run well, you've got gyro. I know. That goes on until 10th of November, but they're enjoyable, and we don't have many good story-heavy co-op experiences on the Switch. I think it really does help playing this one in co-op. It's just more enjoyable, but still decent if you're just going to play it single player and you can handle the scary elements. Resident Evil Revelations, £6.39 until the 10th of November. Last but not least, before our Savaloys, we've got BioShock Infinite, the complete edition, mainly because of its ridiculous 80% sale in the US. It's $3.99 or your regional equivalent. Now, it's still cheap over here at a 60% off, but $3.99, yeah, you really should. This one, although it hasn't had a patch for Switch 2, it does run flawlessly over there. It's still fine on Switch 1, and actually I was surprised when this came out just how good it was. But if you've not played it, I do highly recommend it. The whole game is set in the complete polar opposite setting as the first two titles. This time you're up in the clouds, and it has this real strange pseudo-cult feel to it, where everyone's more happy than they should be, but there's this dark undertone that quickly shows his head. Really good game. BioShock Infinite, 60 or 80% off in your regions. Certainly one to add to your growing collection. Which takes us onto the Savaloy Selection then, and what have we got this week? Well, first up we've got White Knight. Around Glen's the other day, I was looking at his PlayStation trophies, and he actually had the platinum for this one. I remember him doing the review for it. Not an amazing game, but a decent little survival horror type experience with that really interesting black and white style. At 85% off though, an easy pickup for £2. Siberia 1 and 2, before they get their HD remakes, there's a complete, remaster coming, or remake of Siberia. You can pick up both games at the moment on Switch for £2.99. These are classic point-and-click adventures. And in the classic, I mean, yes, they're a bit janky. Some of the writing is iffy, but they have just something special about them that modern games seem to really struggle to recreate. 90% off, £2.99 until the 11th of November. Another adventure game is Yesterday Origins. Reminded me a little bit of Broken Sword. £1.34, that's 90% off until the 11th of November. A good time to be had for sure. I think I prefer Broken Sword, well I definitely do, but these are good enough, and there are a few reviews out, so you can go check them out. And last but not least, over here in the UK, we've got a great sale on Vampire Survivors again, which has had another update come out for it. This is one where they've constantly collaborated with other great indie games, so you get this real stream of often free content come into the experience of what was already amazing. So yeah, Vampire Survivors is our last Savaloy of the week. Let me know in the comments, has anything tickled your fancy? Has your backlog remained sturdy? Or are you one of those people that's going to say, I was doing so well, but then I had to add one more game to my collection? Go check out SwitchUp Extra if you're interested in some real long-form content with Glen and I having a good bit of banter about new games, but often just talking almost in podcast format with the gameplay in the background. Thank you to our Patreons, our members. If you want to save yourself some money, you can go to switchup.gg to buy your eShop credit, where you get 5% in cashback, and we get a minuscule kickback from Nintendo. Yeah, I wasn't trying to be negative at the start of the video, but I do think it's important just to stay honest. Like if you're not feeling great, isn't it terrible when you can see someone almost trying to force joy or trying to force being fine all the time? That's one of the worst things in YouTube, in my opinion, is the fakeness. So yeah, I don't really roll that way. So yeah, I didn't mean to be miserable, but it's just the way it was. I feel a lot better now since I did at the start of this video. So have a good one. I hope you have a good Monday. And as always, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya.